Hello, good evening, students. So, in the previous lecture, we have completed one problem on cost of capital. So, we are in the cost of capital chapter. Previous lecture, we have completed one problem relating to computation of weighted average cost of capital. So, now we look at the second problem, cost of capital second problem. This is also main exam problem, 10 marks problem, bit comprehensive problem, very good problem. Look at this. The capital structure of PQR Limited is as follows: 10% debentures 3 lakhs, 12% preference shares 2,50,000, equity share face value of rupees 10 per share 5 lakhs. Additional information: rupees 100 per debenture redeemable at par has 12% flotation cost and 10% 10 years of maturity. The market price per debenture is rupees 110. Rupees 100 per preference share redeemable at par has 3% flotation cost and 10 years of maturity. The market price per preference share is rupees 108. Equity share has rupees 4 flotation cost and market price per share of rupees 25. The next year expected dividend is rupees 2 per share with annual growth of 5%. The firm has a practice of paying all earnings in the form of dividends. Corporate income tax rate is 30%. Required calculate weighted average cost of capital using market value weights. So we have to calculate weighted average cost of capital using market value weights. So they have given book values, and they have given market price. So since market price is given, we can convert the book values into market price. We can convert the book values into market price. That's not a big deal. Very simple case. Look at this. We have three sources of finance. One is debentures. We have three sources of finance: debentures. Another one is preference shares. Another one is equity shares. So we have three sources of finance. So first of all, take out the book value. What is the book value of debentures? 3 lakhs. Total book value of debentures is 3 lakhs. Total book value, not per unit, total. Total book value, how much it is? 3 lakhs. How much it is? Total book value 3 lakhs. This is in rupees. Total book value will take 3 lakhs. Preference shares 2,50,000. Preference shares 2,50,000. Equity shares 5 lakhs. So total book value, this is rupees. Next, face value per unit. This is also in rupees. Face value per unit. What is the face value of debenture? Look at this. Rupees 100 per debenture. Therefore, face value is 100. What is the face value for preference shares? Rupees 100. Rupees 100 is the face value of preference shares. Same. Next, what is the face value of equity share? Face value of equity share is rupees 10 per share. So therefore, we'll get this 10. Face value per unit. Therefore, this is what the point. Next, so quantity. So once we got the total book value and face value per unit, we'll get the quantity. 3 lakhs divided by 100. So this is a number. This quantity is a number, not rupees. We should be very clear about our presentation. This is number, not rupees. 3,000. So therefore, this is 2,500 and 50,000. That number of debentures or number of shares cannot be fractions. Therefore, decimal should be removed. So here 2 decimals have taken. This is the number of debentures. This is number of preference shares. This is number of equity shares. Those should never have decimals. It's basic common sense. Don't miss that. So shares will never have fractions. Therefore, this should not be decimals. Don't put this 2 zeros. Okay, right. So quantity. This is the quantity. Next, market price per unit. What is the market price per unit? It also quoted in rupees. Market price per unit is also quoted in rupees. What is the market price? Market price is how much? Debentures rupees 110. Preference shares rupees 108. Market price. Next, equity shares rupees 25. So all information they have given. The only thing is standard format you have to follow. Market price per unit. Therefore, now we'll get total market value. How will you get the total market value? Quantity into market price. quantity into market price per unit. We'll get 3,30,000. So similarly, total market value. Total market value will get. So how I got market value, sir? Quantity into market value per unit. So therefore, first take out the book value and convert the rupees into quantity, then convert the quantity into rupees. Then convert the quantity into rupees. You understand, ma? So first I have converted rupees into quantity. So first I have converted rupees into quantity. Thereafter again I have converted quantities into rupees. Okay, because rechanging. Earlier it was book value. Now I have to reconvert into market value. Now I have to reconvert into market value. Okay, this is called as market value. This is called as market value. So we'll put the total column. We'll put the total column here. We'll put the total column, total market value. So total book value also balance sheet should match. Total book value also balance sheet should match. 10,50,000. Check whether it is matched. So they have not given the total. Okay, leave it. Okay. Thereafter total market value, this point. Total market value 18,50,000. Never sum of these points. Never sum of these face values, quantities, etc. It doesn't make any sense. Don't do the total. Okay. Right. This is the total market value. Now we have to calculate the weights. Market value based weights. Market value based weights. Market value based weights. Out of 18,50,000, how much is 3,30,000? Out of 18,50,000, how much is 3,30,000? 17%. Okay. Out of 18,50,000, how much is 3,30,000? 17.84. You understand how I got the 17.84? 3,30,000 divided by 18.5. Similarly, 2.7 divided by 18.5. 12.5 divided by 18.5. It is out of total 18,50,000. How much is the value? How much is this weight? Out of total 18,50,000, how much is the weight of this? Okay, so this is how we have to calculate 18,50,000. 18,50,000. The same points. We'll calculate the weights. Out of 18,50,000, how much is 2,70,000? It is 14.59%. Similarly, how much is 12,50,000? It is 67%. These are the weights. These are the weights. The weights always will sum up to 1. The weights always will sum up to 1. Okay, market value based weights. Next, we have to calculate cost. Each cost, then weighted cost, then market value weighted cost. Market value weighted cost. So we have to calculate this. This is our final answer. So here we should get our final answer. So to get this final answer here, I need to calculate the cost. I need to calculate the cost of each of these things. First, I have to calculate the cost of debentures. Then I have to calculate the cost of preferences. Then I have to calculate the cost of equity shares. End of the day, I'll get the cost for each item. Okay. So till now, nothing we have done. Just whatever the information they have given, we have substituted and computed the weights. It is not an intellectual task. It's just a clerical task, just computing the weights. Now the main intellectual task arises. So how to compute the cost of this? I'll start with working note 1. I'll start with working note 1. Working note 1. Working note 1. Cost of debentures. Cost of debentures. Working note 1. I'll calculate cost of debentures. Cost of debentures. So here cost of debentures. Two important points we need to understand. So first, total cost we have to take. Within the total cost, there are two types of costs. What is two types of costs? Recurring revenue costs. Recurring revenue cost. We have to take recurring revenue cost. Next, amortized capital cost. Amortized capital cost. Some costs every year will incur. Some costs every year will incur. That is called as recurring revenue cost. Some costs will incur only once in a lifetime. That is called as capital cost. That we have to amortize. That we have to amortize. That is called as amortized capital cost. Amortized capital cost. So some costs regularly will incur. That is called as recurring revenue cost. Sometimes will incur only once in a time. That is called as capital cost. But that capital cost we have to amortize every year. The capital cost we have to amortize every year. So recurring revenue cost and amortized cost. We'll get the total cost. Recurring, we'll get the total cost. Next point is average investment. 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 Average investment, 2 points. Okay. So amount borrowed and amount repaid. So average borrowings, I should say, not average investment. I should call it as a borrowings. Average borrowing. Average borrowing. Average borrowings. So first one is amount borrowed. Amount borrowed. Okay. Okay, amount borrowed, amount repaid. Both will be different. Both will be different. Amount borrowed and amount repaid, or amount received and amount repaid. Amount borrowed, amount repaid. So these are the 2 points. So based on that, C, average cost is equal to C is equal to our cost. C is equal to our cost A by B. C is equal to our cost A by B. So what is our total cost? What is our borrowing amount? What is our total cost? What is our borrowing amount? This is how we have to do it. So, but now everything we need a separate working note. Working note 2. Now I need to calculate recurring revenue cost through working note 2. Recurring revenue cost I need to calculate through working note 2. What is recurring revenue cost? What is recurring revenue cost through working note 2? Okay, right. So now we'll come to that point. Recurring revenue cost. Recurring revenue cost, working note 2. Working note 2, recurring. Don't use the shortcuts. If you use the shortcuts, you don't understand that, you can't understand the concept. So go the standard procedure. Recurring revenue cost. Recurring revenue cost. Recurring revenue cost. What is the face value of each debenture? Face value of each debenture. Face value of debenture. Face value of debenture. How much is the face value of debenture? 10 rupees. How much is the face value of debenture? 10 rupees. Rate of interest. Rate of interest. How much? How much is the rate of interest? Sorry. Face value of debenture is 100 rupees. Face value of debenture is 100 rupees. Okay. Face value of the debenture is 100 rupees. Rate of interest is 10%. Rate of interest is 10%. Therefore, interest, gross interest cost. Gross interest cost. Gross interest cost. How much is gross interest cost? 10 rupees. How much is gross interest cost? 10 rupees. How much is gross interest cost? 10 rupees. Okay. 100 rupees into 10%, 10 rupees will get. Tax rate. Tax rate. How much is tax rate? What is the tax rate? 30% is the tax rate. 30% is the tax rate. 30% is the tax rate. Next, tax benefit due to interest. Tax benefit due to interest. How much is the tax benefit? Tax benefit due to interest, 10 into 30%. This is tax benefit due to interest. Therefore, net interest cost. Net interest cost. So therefore, interest cost net of tax benefit. Interest cost net of tax benefit. Interest cost net of tax benefit. There are 101 ways to do this problem shortcut, but that you use in the emergency case. But when you are learning the concept, don't use the shortcuts. Understand the concept in a proper way. Okay. Gross interest cost is 10 rupees and tax benefit due to interest cost is 3 rupees. Therefore, the net benefit will be 7 rupees. The net interest cost will be 7 rupees. This is what this point. The net interest cost will be 7 rupees. The net interest cost will be 7 rupees. The net interest cost will be 7 rupees. Okay, this is what the point. The net interest cost. Next, amortized capital cost. Next, we want the amortized capital cost. We want the amortized capital cost. What is the capital cost? We have to see. What is the amortized capital cost? We'll see. Okay, amortized capital cost. This is working note 2, recurring revenue cost we have substituted. Next, working note 3, amortized capital cost. I need to use working note 3, amortized capital cost. I need to use working note 3, amortized capital cost. Working note 3, amortized capital cost. Okay. So what is the issue price? What is the issue price? Issue price, not the current market price. Issue price. Issue price they have not given. Amortized capital cost. Amortized capital cost. Amortized capital cost. What is the issue price? Issue price they have not given. Therefore, rupees face value we are assuming. Face value we are assuming. This is the current market price. Current market price, not the issue price. When we have issued the debentures, that price is not given. Therefore, I am assuming the debentures has issued at par. Since the issue price is not given, I am assuming that debentures are issued at par. So therefore, I'll write issue price of debenture. Issue price. Issue price. How much is issue price? 10 rupees. How much is issue price? Rupees 10. How much is issue price? Rupees 10 rupees is the issue price. Flotation rate. Flotation cost is how much? Flotation cost is how much percentage? 2%. Flotation cost is how much? 2%. Therefore, issue expenses. Issue expenses is equal to 10 rupees into 2%. That means 0.02. 0.20 I'll get. 0.20. Sorry, issue price is 100, right? Sorry. Issue price is 100. I'll get 2 rupees is the issue expenses. 2 rupees is the issue expenses. This is the total issue expenses. Total. So issue expenses. Issue expenses. Next, number of years. This 2 rupees I will not incur every year. Only when I have issued the shares or debentures, only at that time I will incur. Okay, this 2 rupees flotation cost I will not incur every year. Whereas this 10 rupees interest cost and this tax benefit, this will come every year. This will come every year. That's why I deliberately use the name called as recurring every year that will come. Whereas this is capital cost, only once in a lifetime it will come. You have to amortize. Therefore, tenure of debentures. Tenure of debentures. So how many years of debentures? 10 years. Tenure of debentures in years. So how many years? 10 years. So debentures 10 years. Therefore, amortized cost. Amortized cost is equal to 2 rupees divided by 10. 2 rupees divided by 10. So this is the cost. This is the amortized cost. How much is the amortized cost? 0.2. Amortized cost how much? 0.2 is the amortized cost. So first we have to calculate these two components. One is recurring cost, another one is amortized cost. So don't do the shortcuts. You can do the problem very simply just by using the formulas, but nobody understand what is going on in the formula. So if you just by heart the formula, you don't understand what is going on in the formula. So therefore use the conceptual way. So this will be total 0.2, 7 plus 0.2, 7.2, 7 plus 0.2, this will be 7.2. Okay, right. Done. Next, revenue cost. What is the total revenue cost here now? Sum up. If I total these 2 points, this will be 7.20 is the total revenue cost. Total revenue cost is 7.20. Next, amount borrowed. Amount borrowed. How much is the amount borrowed? 100 rupees issue price, but issue expense is 2 rupees. Therefore, net amount received is 98 rupees only. Net amount received. Net amount received. I should call it as a net amount received. Net amount received is equal to 100 rupees issue price, rupees 100 minus rupees 2. Rupees 100 minus rupees 2. So what is this rupees 100 minus rupees 2, sir? Net amount received. So rather than writing the amount, I should call it as a issue price minus flotation cost. Minus flotation cost. Therefore, 100 minus 2. 100 minus 2, 98 rupees. Amount repayable. Amount repayable. Amount repayable. What is the redemption price? 100 rupees. What is the redemption price? 100 rupees. Because they have given in the question, redeemable at par. They have given in the question redeemable at par. Clear ma? They have given in the question redeemable at par. Okay, 100 rupees redeemable at par. Right, 100 rupees per share redeemable at par. Therefore, average value. What is the average borrowings? What is the average borrowings? So this average borrowings is 98 plus 100 divided by 2. Average borrowings 99 rupees. Average borrowings is 99 rupees. Okay. Average borrowings is 99 rupees. Therefore, cost is equal to 7.2 divided by 99. That will be 7.27%. That will be somewhere 7.27%. There will be aware somewhere aware 7.27%. Do you understand, ma? Just look at this. Nowhere I have used the formula. So most of the students are using this with a complicated formula. Not complicated, but they are using a blind formula. Observe it. I got the answer without using any formula. Just pure logic. Even anybody can understand. Without formula, just pure logically you can understand this problem. So if you by had the problem, if you by had the formula, you cannot do the complicated problems. So formula by heading students cannot do the complicated problems in the examination. Twisted problems, they will not do it. Only so far as the question paper is easy, the people will pass. Unnecessarily, we are blaming the ICA giving less result. You are less competent. So the people are simply by adding the formulas and they blame the ICA. No, learn the conceptually. Why you will fail? So far as you understand the concept, you will not fail. So far as you understand the concept, you will not fail. Okay, right. This is the point, 7.2. Okay, therefore cost is equal to 7.27%. Cost is equal to 7.27%. Just go through this. Just go through this. How we got this debenture interest cost? 3 working notes: working note 1, working note 2, and working note 3. Working note 1, working note 2, and working note 3. How we got the cost of debentures? How we got the cost of debentures? Similarly, the same methodology you can apply even for the preference shares also. The same methodology I can apply even for the preference shares also. I can apply the same methodology for the preferences with only one change. The tax rate is not deductible. That's it. With only one change. Working note 4. Working note 4, cost of preferences. Working note 4, cost of preferences. Working note 4, cost of preferences. What is the revenue? Working note 5. This will be working note 5. Working note 5, recurring cost. Working note 5, recurring revenue cost. Working note 5, recurring revenue cost. Working note 5, recurring revenue cost. Face value of preference share. What is the face value of preference share? Same 10 rupees. What is the face value of preference share? Same 10 rupees. Rate of dividend. Instead of interest, we'll put rate of dividend. How much is the rate of dividend? 12%. How much is the rate of dividend? 12%. Okay, here they have given 12% preferences. 12% preferences. Therefore, gross dividend cost. Gross dividend cost. Gross dividend cost. Gross dividend cost. Tax rate will be 0. So net tax benefit, this will not come. This will not come. So no tax benefit. Here the answer will end. Gross dividend cost. Tax benefit due to interest. Tax benefit due to dividend. Tax benefit due to dividend 0. Tax benefit due to dividend 0. Okay, therefore you'll end up with this point. Tax benefit due to dividend will be 0, because dividend on preference shares is not tax deductible. Dividend on preference shares is not tax deductible. Therefore, the net interest cost will be same. The net interest cost will be 12. Okay, recurring revenue cost. Next, amortized capital cost, will put working note 6. Amortized capital cost, will put working note 6. Issue price same, will assume 100. Flotation cost, they have given 3%. For preference shares, flotation cost is 3%. For preference shares, flotation cost is 3%. Issue expenses is 3. Tenure of preference shares. Tenure of preference shares. Tenure of preference shares. Same 10 years. Therefore, amortized cost will be 0.3. Amortized cost will be 0.3. Therefore, 0.3. That's it. Okay, that's the same method. Only point is the tax benefits will not be available. For the dividends, tax benefits will not be available. That is the only point. For the dividends, tax benefit will not be available. Next, net borrowings. Net borrowings, what is the issue price? 100 rupees. Flotation cost 3. Therefore, 97. It will be 97. 98.5. Average cost will be 12.49. That's it. Look and observe it. Nowhere I have used the formula. Most of the students, 99% of the students, they are doing this problem with the formula manner. No doubt, for the examination, if you want to score good marks, if you want to solve the problem quickly, do it with the formula. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. I am not rejecting the formula based learning. That is only for quick solving the problem in the examination. But for the very first time, when you are understanding the concept, never use the formula. Throughout my lectures, I will never use the formula. I will use the logic. Based on the logic, I'll arrive at the answer. So later on, we'll follow the examination approach. Same problem, I'll teach you in 2 different ways. Same problem, I'll teach you in 2 different ways. First lecture is for understanding the concept without using the formula. Second lecture, same problem, I'll teach it once again. Second problem with an examination oriented approach. So how to substitute the formula? We need both. We need both. One conceptual understanding, another wise examination part. So therefore, I'll solve the same both ways. Therefore, at least when you are listening the topic for the first time, never use the formula. Formula, use it only after you understanding the concept. After you understanding the concept logically, use the formula only for the limited purpose of saving time in the examination. Formula we need only for the limited purpose of saving time in the examination. Never ever for understanding the subject. For understanding the subject, you need not use the formula. So this is the way. Without using the formula also we can arrive at this cost. Without using the formula also we can arrive at this cost 12.49. 12.49. Okay, this is the cost. Next, what is left over is only the equity shares. Next, what is left over is only the equity shares. Okay, so working note 6, working note 7, cost of equity shares. Working note 7, cost of working note 8, cost of equity shares. 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 So what is the cost of equity shares? Based on the dividend based approach, based on the dividend model, based on the dividend model, we can calculate the cost of dividend shares. Expected dividend. What is the expected dividend? Expected dividend is how much? Expected dividend rupees. Expected dividend is how much rupees? Expected dividend is rupees 2 per share. Expected dividend is rupees 2 per share. Expected dividend is rupees 2 per share. Okay. Next, net proceed, net issue price, net proceeds, net proceeds. How will you get the net proceeds? Issue price minus flotation cost. Issue price minus flotation cost. That will be 25 minus 4. That will be 25 minus 4. Okay. That will be 25 minus 4. 25 is the market price per share minus 4 rupees is the flotation cost. Therefore, I'll take 25 minus 4. 25 minus 4, 22. Okay, is equal to, how I got this? Is equal to 25 minus 4, 21. Okay, 21 we get it. So I'll put this as A. I'll put this as A, expected dividend. I'll put this as B, net proceeds. I'll put this as B, net proceeds. Next, I'll put C. This is C. What is C? Growth rate. What is C? Growth rate. So therefore, cost of dividend is equal to cost of equity is equal to, cost of equity is what? A by B plus C. A by B plus C. A by B plus C is the cost of equity. This growth rate is how much? 5% is the growth rate. 5% is the growth rate. Growth rate is 5%. Growth rate is 5%. Growth rate is 5%. So cost of equity, first take out A by B. First take out A by B, 2 divided by 21 plus growth rate. Take out growth rate. Take out growth rate. You will get 15%. You will get 15%. Cost of equity is 15%. Okay, sorry, 14.52%, whatever it is. 14.52%, whatever it is. Okay, market price expected dividend is 2, market price 21. So market price 21, 25 minus flotation cost. For that, we'll add the growth rate of 5%. For that, we'll add the growth rate of 5%. So 14.52 will get, 14.52 will get, we'll give the reference, we'll give the link here. Cost of equity 14.52, working note 8. Cost of equity 14.52. Now market value weighted cost. Very simple. Market value based weights into cost. 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 Okay. Market value based weights into cost. That's it. Market value based weights into cost. This is how we can do it. Market value based weights into cost. Preference shares. Preference shares. Okay, the same thing we can copy it. Market value based cost. Same thing we can copy with this point. Therefore, if you take out the total, this is our main answer. This is our main answer. 12.93 is our main answer. 12.93. I'll put in the green color. I'll put in the green color because that is our final answer, final solution, final solution. So end of the day, we arrived at this point. Okay, so that is our final solution. That is our final solution. Okay, this is our final solution. You can take out this table, debentures, preferences, how to calculate this. First, we have to calculate the market value. Okay. So first take out the book value, face value, quantity. You will get the market price. You will get the quantity. So by using total book value and face value per unit, you will get the quantity. By using the total book value and face value per unit, you will get the quantity. Okay. So for that quantity, we have to add market price. You will get the total market value. We'll get the total market value. For based on the total market value, we'll compute the weights. So for this weights, we have to add the cost. For this weights, we have to add the cost. This is market value weighted cost. This is market value weighted cost. Final answer is 12.93. So look at this. Nowhere I have used the formula. So normally people will use this formula for a cost of debentures, but there were many people are not confident enough of what this formula says. I into 1 minus tax rate. I have a very bad habit of remembering the formulas. I into 1 minus tax rate into RV plus NP divided by N divided by RV plus NP divided by 2. This is the formula we'll use. Very quickly we'll get in. This much of working notes is not necessary. This much of working notes is not necessary. Straight away substitute and get it. End of the day, what you are doing is arithmetic, addition, subtraction, multiplication. For that, you need not enter a finance professional course. So just practicing. Sir, who gave the inputs, sir? Some examination department or some course gave the inputs, sir. And who gave this formula, sir? They only gave the formula. End of the day, what you are doing? You are taking the inputs and substituting the formula. That means you are simply practicing mathematical skills like addition, subtraction, multiplication without learning concept. So therefore, I don't want to use this formula to arrive at this problem. If for the examination shortcut, I'll show you the same formula again. Again, I'll give the same problem. I'll teach you again once again, just for the examination sake, quickly. Okay. But in the conceptual learning, we should not use the formula. Without using formula only, we should end up the answer. First instance, I'm not denying that you have to use the formula in the exam to save the examination time. But our first class purpose is not examination. Our first class purpose is understanding the concept. When you are understanding the concept, go purely logically. Blindly don't use the formulas, go logically. Okay. So these are the points. Anyway, I'll attach this Excel sheet. I'll attach the Excel sheet solution to the video. Okay, you can download the Excel sheets. Okay, you can download this solution. After listening the video, you can download this solution, verify the solution once again, and then again you can watch the video for your second time confirmation. Okay, great. That is what the point. So the important point is how the total cost is broken down into revenue cost and capital cost. You will get the clear understanding. Okay, this is what the point. Okay.